There are a lot of ways to start a fire without matches and cigarette lighters, and it's kind of fun to learn those particular skills. But one of my favorite ways involves going out and getting some bark off of a cedar tree. And I was out in the woods yesterday and ran across a cedar tree. It was dead, and so I cut it up, and brought it home. But this is the bark that comes off the cedar tree, and I collect a bunch of this stuff off of cedar trees and bring it home, and then I can use it for tinder. And then if I'll go ahead and get an ember, somehow start an ember and place the ember in here, then I can usually start a fire. And so I have my little hobo stove here today, so I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and get this started and place the ember inside the tinder bundle of cedar bark, and see how that works. I think I'm gonna go ahead and use a rock to get my ember, and take a sharp rock. I went to the river up in the mountains and broke up some rocks with a hammer, got some sharp edges, and I hope that if I take a piece of char cloth and strike my steel against that to get a spark into my char cloth, then that'll create an ember. Put the ember in here and see how that works. So anyway, when I get this bark, I want to tear it up. I want to really, make it so that there's something there that an ember could be able to strike and get going. I'll make a little bird nest, and like this, and I'll take the fine bark, put it in there as well, because it'll start up really well. And now I'll just put this rock to hold the wind from blowing it down, and I'll take a piece of char cloth, and I have a little tin of char cloth here, and I can just go out and pick a piece of char cloth, and I usually tear it in half. The reason I tear it in half is it gives me some nice edges that are very fragile and take a spark really well. And then I'll put those edges together, and then I'll put that somewhere against a sharp edge. I'll just take this sharp edge right here, place my char cloth right there, and see if I can strike this in such a way that I can get a spark to go to it. Okay, so here goes. Let's see. Just want to strike it along the edge there, and it'll create sparks, but the spark has to get to the char cloth. I see sparks. That edge did not appear to be sharp enough. Let's try that over here. Oh, it was sharp enough. Look at that. It's got the ember going. Now I'll take this, I'll place this ember right in my bundle. I'll kind of wrap it up a little bit, and then I'll blow on it. Usually I hold it up in the air to get the smoke to go away from me. Okay, so we've got our ember going. I'll go ahead and put it in my hobo stove, and usually what you have is some fat wood ready to go. I'll put some fat wood there, and a little bit more. And if the ember goes out, if this tinder goes out, I can always blow on it. Let me see if I can get some more little fat wood. This is some fat wood. I'll go ahead and put it in there as well. Fat wood likes to burn because it's got all that pine rosin in it, and so if it gets a flame to it, it usually will do pretty well. I can see that my fat wood is already taken the flame. If we were to blow on that a little bit, it would get started even more. But that was from striking a rock with steel. This is just an old file, and getting a little ember onto our char cloth. And so that worked out pretty well. Now I'm going to put this down. It's going pretty good. I want to demonstrate some other ways to get an ember. So anyway, you see that it's going pretty good. Okay, another way is I've got a bird nest here ready to go, and I took the bark from the cedar and I just pulverized it and put some really fine stuff in the center there. And I'm going to try to take my fire steel, my Swedish fire steel, and see if we can get it to spark. It's usually a little more difficult to do this, but put it right in there. It was going. And that's going to take a little bit more work. Sometimes it'll start right up and sometimes it won't. Let me try it this way. There we go. Now, okay, so there's our fire. There's other ways to get embers to go. And one is a fire roll. Let's see if I have anything. Maybe I can make a fire roll right now on the spot. I'll take a cotton ball. I'll try to unravel it. Here we go. Unravel it. This is a friction fire roll. It's a lot of fun to do these. I'll rip this in half. I don't need all that cotton. I'll go ahead and take some ash, wood ashes. Actually, these come from, hang on buddy, just stay right there. These actually come from my hobo stove. I'll take these wood ashes and just spread them liberally onto about half of my cotton. Roll it up. And I've shown all this stuff on other videos, but it's kind of fun to see it all together. And I went out into the woods last week and found a branch, and I cut it with my saw that I took out with me, and then I took my big K-bar, that's this knife right here, and I batoned it. That means I just put it right there and hit it with another log and split it down the middle, and then carved it a little bit to get it kind of a flat surface. And I've never used this before, but I'm going to take this cotton ball that I've created right here, and I'm going to roll it. And I'm going to roll it to get it tight so that that ash will act as kind of a greater friction against the cotton fibers. And again, I've never used this here before, but I'm going to go ahead and try to get it tight. And once I've gotten it tight, I'm going to try to create the friction I need put it to my lips to see if there's any heat. A little bit of heat, but hang on. I smell smoke. So let's just see. See, it's burning through there. That friction created by the cotton fibers rubbing against the ashes has created a friction roll that started, and it's going to burn through. I just leave it alone until it burns through, and then we can go ahead and take this and we can put it in some let's try this. Let's see if we can make something real quick. Come here, buddy. And there we go. And I'll just put that into my hobo stove as well. Let's see, what other ways can we do this? Friction fire roll, let's see. I'll tell you what, one of the easiest ways to start a fire is if you have a cotton roll. Let's just take this right here, what's left over. It starts up so easy if you're using a fire steel. Watch this. And I put it right there. Well, I patted it all down, that's why it won't. There we go. And you can see that that's burning as well. So cotton rolls, just by themselves, will start if you get a spark to it. Okay. Let's see, what else is there that we could do? Well, the sun is gone. I mean, it is totally overcast now, and we can't do anything like that. But let's see. Another thing is we can use our char cloth. I'll just take a strip of it. And I want you to see how quickly char cloth, let me get a bigger one, just to see how well char cloth takes a spark. And imagine that you have this inside of a little tinder bundle right now. And I hope the wind doesn't blow this away, but watch. So you can see why char cloth is a really wonderful material to get an ember started. Another thing that I do is I have, let's see what else I have here. I have a tinder box loaded with what I did was I charred some punk wood, and this punk wood is very, very light, rotten stuff, but it's just very airy. And this chars up, and I charred up a bunch of it in this little tin. But watch how you can use this, because anything charred like char cloth or this charred material here will take a spark. Hope I don't blow this out. Okay, so it's going. And what I could do, I haven't got this prepared, but let me just take this right here and just show you that all you have to do is take your tinder bundle and you can start a fire that way. Then you close your box and set it aside, and it'll be good. I've used this 5 times now, this tinder in this little box, and you can use it over and over again. So those are some of the ways that you can start a fire. I'm just practicing, I'm new at this, so if you all want to try things like this, just do like I do, go and experiment. Go on YouTube, and David West has a channel on YouTube, and he has taught me a lot of this stuff, and so it's just fun. He taught me how to do the hobo stove, how to create friction fires with cotton rolls, you know, how to use rock. Actually, he was using flint, and I didn't have flint, so I went and got river rock. And so long as you have a hard rock, hard, with a sharp edge, and you have some char cloth and some kind of steel, like my homemade file here, you would be able to create a spark. And I think that's kind of awesome the way that things work, that we can have so much fun doing these things. But anyway, I ordered another 3 of these. They're just so great. I ordered 3 of these on Amazon today and got a really good price. I think I paid about $14 for the Army. It's called the Army Swedish Steel. And so it's big, thicker, and will last longer. It's supposed to last for about 12,000 strikes. But anyway, a lot of fun to have these kind of things. I'd like to carry one in my car, and you know, others around places where I travel or go, or vehicles that I have, and things like that. All right. I think that'll probably do us. I just wish the sun was out and I could demonstrate how to take a Fresnel card, you know, about the size of a credit card, and use that to focus the sun's energies and like a magnifying glass, start a fire that way. It's a lot of fun, and it's very, very easy. If I could only take one tool and I knew that I was going to have sun, I would take the Fresnel card, the magnifier card. It starts so easily when you run across good materials that will take an ember, or start with a little bit of magnified sun. So much fun. Y'all ought to try this.